Embattled RNC Chairman Michael Steele probably didn't do himself any favors during a recent radio stint. A listener called in to tell the embattled chair not to let anyone shut him up. Steele's reply, nope, that ain't happening. And it didn't. Steele went on to describe the current political climate as, quote, Armageddon. With us now live, Republican strategist and MSNBC analyst Joe Watkins and Democratic strategist Bernard Whitman. Joe, what's wrong with Michael Steele?
Nothing. Michael Steele is doing exactly what a Republican national chairman is supposed to do, which is to rally the troops and build a strong base for the Republican Party. We lost in 2006. We lost in 2008. We want to win in 2010 and again in 2012. Michael Steele will raise money. He will rebuild this party. And he's not running for office himself. He's trying to rally the Republican troops. So people ought not be surprised if some of the things that he says are maybe not terribly kind about Democrats.
Doesn't he hurt his own credibility and that of the party when he likens President Obama to Richard Nixon, when he says one thing one day about Rush Limbaugh, then flip-flops? I mean, every day that he opens his mouth, there's a problem.
No, I don't think there's any problem. I think that Michael realizes his job is to raise money. He's got name ID, he's got buzz, he's got momentum, and he's building a staff. And as he builds that staff and raises that money, he's going to make Republicans very, very competitive. That's what we care about, is winning those elections in 2010 and 2012.
Bernard, if the threshold is buzz, Michael Steele certainly has that.
I would absolutely agree, and I would add to that that, you know, Michael Steele strikes me as sort of like a pitcher in the first inning. He comes in, he's a little jacked up, and then he's got to sort of calm himself down to go into innings 2, 3, 4, and 5. And anybody that jumped into this job after the drubbing the Republicans took in the fall elections is going to have a bit of a tough time. But I'd have to agree, and I never have done this before, with Haley Barbour, the former Republican chair. Talk of Steele leaving now is just silly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, Joe, I'm going to put you on the spot here because I love to do it. Here's what Michael Steele said about President Obama. What you're seeing here is nothing short of the Nixon administration played out in a different era and a different style. You have H.R. Haldeman and Rahm Emanuel, the master manipulators, creating an enemies list, putting together the targets on our side. Joe, you don't believe that there's any credible comparison between the Obama administration and Richard Nixon's White House, do you?
Well, you know, this is a free country, of course, and people can draw whatever analogies they want.
Right, but that wasn't my question, Joe.
Sure.
I know you better, Joe. I know that you don't believe that there's a credible connection. You're allowed to say it on the show. Well, Michael Steele is wrong when he makes that connection. You're allowed to say it, Joe.
What I'll say is this, David. What I'll say is this, is that to the degree that Rahm Emanuel and others create that kind of a combative environment, an environment that shuts Republicans out, that's a bad thing, and Michael Steele is smart to draw attention to it. So at the end of the day, if the Obama administration wants to be a post-partisan administration, wants to welcome Republicans and Republican ideas and actually initiate some of those ideas along with Democrat ideas, well, then that's exactly what they talked about doing. That would be good for America. But what Michael Steele is calling out is that they're not exactly doing what they said they were going to do.
David, let me just jump in here. I think what's going on is we are seeing the deep rifts and divides exposed. Everybody knew that the Republican Party was going to have to really do a soul searching to understand who they represent and what they stand for. And we're seeing this bubble to the surface in all the sort of outrageous comments that Michael Steele has made. And I think that part of the issue here is that the social conservatives, who have had a tight grip on this party for 20 years, are losing sway. And that is what is causing so many criticisms of Michael Steele in this early days. The Republican Party is going to have to figure out who it is, and Michael Steele is just a reflection that they haven't quite figured that out.
We know who we are, and the good part about it is that we're a big tent. There's room in this party for people with lots of different beliefs, lots of different understandings.
Including people who have no idea what history really is and have their own distorted view thanks to Michael Steele. In any case, God bless both of you. Joe Watkins, MSNBC analyst, Democratic strategist Bernard Whitman, thank you both for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.